The electrical system in our homes is extremely important. We become very dependent upon electricity, and not all electricity and switches and outlets are the same. They do different things. We have a lot of safety features today. I've asked Luke Strange to join me here on the show from Cool Hand Electric to answer a question that's come in from one of our listeners. How are you, buddy?
Doing fantastic.
It is great to have you here. GFCI outlets. Ground fault circuit interrupters, I believe that's what it stands for. What are GFCI outlets and where do I need them is the question.
Cool. So ground fault circuit interrupters, it's a tongue twister. You'll hear us GFCIs or GFIs. Um, they're the square outlets with the little push buttons. They also have them on circuit breakers as well. Um, you can protect them through a circuit breaker. Um, Similar to the circuit breakers are going to protect your wiring from overheating. Similar to that, the GFCIs protect people from getting shocked.
Mhm.
And so because they have, it's like human protection there, they want them around wet areas. So your bathrooms, outside, your garage. People say, "Why garage?" Well, a lot of people will open up their garage door and plug in stuff and work outside or be around water or hose things down. So they decided that needs to be GFCI protected as well. Kitchen, there's the sink in there. So anything servicing the kitchen needs to be GFCI protected. Um, yeah, that about covers it. So any place someone could get shocked around water pretty much needs to be GFCI. So
So, GFCI, the way it's supposed to work, correct me if I'm wrong, is if my wife is in the bathroom and the sink is full of water and she has a hair dryer. If her hand's in the water and the hair dryer falls in, will she be shocked with a GFCI or will it immediately cut it off?
she'll be shocked. It will cut it off, but she'll be shocked. But they actually how they are you familiar with how they tested it?
No. Oh, they use monkeys?
It's a funny story, like, in the I think it was the '50s or something when they were designing this technology, they actually paid college students, um, to get shocked and see how much, damage they could take,
Goodness.
yeah, dude, it's funny story, but they discovered what they call milliamps, and so there's a certain amount of, voltage and milliamps that is supposed to be able to trip off on. So actually small children, really small ones that don't have a lot of mass, they could still, if they're around electricity and it they could still get hurt technically, but the million if the GFCI is still tripping quickly like it's supposed to, then for majority of people, they won't even feel it. It'll kick off, but it does that. That's what happens. That electricity has to go somewhere. It's going to go to the ground. So, and that water is connected to it. But yeah, that's how they tested it with college students.
Wow.
Yeah, they their GFCIs themselves, the manufacturers, they typically want you to test it monthly. Um, my I've been doing this 20 years. I found most people don't test it monthly. I don't in my own house. I'll remember to do that each time. So what we find when we test is the older it gets, you have about 10 to 15 years of it being accurate. And we have testers that will test if it's tripping at the right milliamp rating. And so similar to like the brakes on the car, those just wear down over time. They may not be tripping at the right milliamp. So even if you have them in there, if it hasn't been tested properly, a lot of even home inspectors don't even have this type of tester. They just put in there and they just hit the test button. If it turns off and back on, that's it. They don't know the milliamp rating. So if you're actually concerned about safety, like the purpose of it, it's good to have those tested. Because older ones just go slower. Basically, I as I'm getting older, I go slower too. That's just that's that's just what happens. So
Yeah, well, tell me about it. Wait till you get to be as old as me. And my father, he's 94 years old, and he says, "Wait till you get to be as old as me." It,
my hair's receding back there. It's thinning out.
well,
So
I I I hear you, my friend. So, when I was young, I lived in older homes. didn't have GFCI. What prompted this? Because I don't really know of anyone who was being shocked or even beyond that, killed, in their home from this. Is it common that people get a shock because something happens in their home?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the stats on that, so I'm not gonna
Mhm.
you know, it has been it's a very common risk, so I think the code is to try to prevent as much, harm as possible, so I don't really know how many were before,
Yeah.
but the developer said, "Hey, how can we make this safer for people?" And no one wants their kid plugging something in and getting shocked. Most adults know water, electricity don't work, but your kids don't. So I think that's a big thing. And then you also see your pets too. Pets will chew on anything. And
Oh.
you know, that's horrifying. I've had customers that got their, you know, pets died from that. My cats will chew on any cord. So um the more GFI protection, the better. It is a legit risk having electricity. It can, you know, it can kill. So if the circuit is not you know, completed, then it's gonna go through something, and that power, you just don't want it going through a person. That's so if it's preventable, that's why they designed it, so
Well, a cat can do it 9 times before it dies because they have 9
sure.
lives. A dog, not so much. Luke, on that note, thank you so much for joining me today here on the program. All of Luke's contact information is in the show notes. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.